The intent of this video is to review the poison gas retaliation plan if Japanese had attacked U.S. forces with toxic gases. The 1944 urban gas attack plan was aimed at killing between 350,000 and 5 million Japanese civilians. The U.S. had harbored concerns that during some point in the war, poison gas would be used by the Japanese military. The rationale for these concerns are listed in this page from a declassified 1943 Military Intelligence Service document titled Enemy Capabilities of Chemical Warfare. The Japanese did not ratify the Geneva Protocol of 1925, which prohibited the use of poison gas, and evidence showed the Japanese had used poison gas in China on numerous occasions. On June 8, 1943, Roosevelt issued a stern warning to the Axis powers, as discussed on this June 5, 1945, Headquarters Army Air Forces memo titled Initiation of Chemical Warfare Against Military Targets in Japan. The U.S. will inflict full and swift retribution in kind. There will be terrible consequences if the Axis armies use these inhumane weapons. Any gas usage by the Axis will be followed by a full retaliation on munition centers, seaports, and other military objectives throughout the country. The gas attack retaliation target list was expanded to include 10 major cities just 10 months later. An overview of the poison gas attack plan is shown on this page from an April 1944 Assistant Chief of the Air Staff report titled Selected Aerial Objectives for the Retaliatory Gas Attack on Japan. I don't believe this document has been widely released. G-Day is the day of the first poison gas bomb strike. Bombers will be dispatched from all available areas to saturate the Japanese cities with poison gas. As of April 1944, no bomber bases existed which could strike Japan. The plan assumes strike bases, planes, and sufficient stocks of poison gases will be available on G-Day. Sufficient quantities of bombers needed to carry out the poison gas attacks on Japan proper would be available about a year later in spring of 1945. The planes will strike at 150% of their average monthly sortie rate. Loadouts will consist of 75% poison gas bombs and 25% high explosive bombs. Each square mile will require 4,000 100-pound class mustard gas bombs or 600 1,000-pound class Phosgene gas bombs. The goal of the U.S. gas attack is to cause maximum number of Japanese casualties, crippling transportation and public services. Target cities were selected based on population density and war production centers. A non-persistent gas is best used when a temperature inversion is expected. A non-persistent gas like Phosgene is one that dissipates quickly. A persistent gas like mustard is best used when the temperature is high. Mustard gas will linger for around 4 days. The gas bombs will be dropped on the city congestion areas. A day attack will target business and industrial centers. A night attack will target high-density residential zones. These poison gases are very different from each other. This chart outlines the characteristics of mustard gas from a U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command document titled Human Impacts of Technological Innovations on the Battlefield. It is a blistering agent. It will attack exposed skin. A persistent chemical agent will remain active for days. It is usually liquid when above 57 degrees Fahrenheit. It is standard practice, though, to call it and all chemical agents gases, though. In practice, it caused far more casualties but far less fatalities. It was the king of battlefield gases in World War I. Other significant characteristics of mustard gas include there are no immediate effects. Symptoms will start 2 to 6 hours after exposure. Lethality rates varied from 2 to 5%. Mustard is several times more toxic than Phosgene. There is no defense against mustard gas. A mask will protect your face, but your exposed skin will be vulnerable. Phosgene, on the other hand, is considered a non-persistent gas. It is colorless and has a musky odor. It will dissipate quickly. It reacts with the lungs, causing suffocation. It will have a 48-hour delayed effect. 85% of all World War I gas-related deaths were from Phosgene. It will take 310 500-pound Phosgene bombs to saturate 1 square mile. This will be lethal to 50% of the exposed, unprotected population. It will take 3,720 100-pound mustard gas bombs to saturate 1 square mile. The area will be contaminated for up to 4 days. Anyone in the zone exposed during the first 4 hours will be totally disabled within 24 hours. Another advantage of mustard gas usage is that it is absorbed into wood. It is not practical to decontaminate wood which has been exposed to mustard gas. This will further impair the Japanese war effort. This table summarizes the poison gas attack targets. The columns represent the city name, population, area of bombing zones in square miles, number of 100-pound class mustard gas bombs, and 1,000-pound class Phosgene bombs to saturate the area. To saturate 10 cities representing 154.5 square miles, it will take 518,000 M70 100-pound class mustard bombs or 92,700 M79 1,000-pound class Phosgene bombs. This page from a 1945 United States Naval Bomb Disposal Unit document titled Bombs and Fuses, Pyrotechnics outlines the characteristics and a cutaway of the 100-pound class M70 chemical bomb. The bomb is filled with 57 pounds of a mustard gas. The bomb's filled weight equates to 122.5 pounds. On impact, the fuse will detonate the burster charge. This will disperse the mustard poison compound. This page outlines characteristics and a cutaway of the larger 1,000-pound class M79 chemical bomb. The bomb is filled with 404 pounds of phosgene. The bomb's filled weight equates to 926 pounds. On impact, the fuse will detonate the burster charge. This will spread the phosgene poison compound over an area of 100 yards in diameter within a duration of 8 to 10 seconds. The results of the poison gas attack on civilian population in the Japanese war effort are characterized on this page. Since an air-launched gas attack of this scale has never been conducted, the results are estimates only. 14.5 million citizens reside in the affected zones. This is around 1/4 of Japan's population. All of the 14.5 million citizens will be exposed to the effects of the gas attack. Nearly 70% of the 14.5 million citizens are located in Zones 1 and 2 and would be directly affected. The effect on the Japanese war effort includes large worker casualties to be expected. The persistent mustard gas would render plants, communications, and transportations unusable. Given the gas attack data shown, we can estimate the number of B-29 sorties and missions needed to deploy the poison gas, and the number of Japanese deaths. The B-29 bomber has 40 bomb stations and can carry up to 20,000 pounds of bombs, as shown on this table from a September 1945 Air Technical Service Command document titled Tactical Planning. Due to bomb bay size constraints, the B-29 can only carry 12 1,000-pound class bombs. Since 25% of the bomb mix will be high explosive general purpose, each B-29 can carry a mixed loadout of 9 M79 Phosgene bombs and 3 M65 high explosive general purpose bombs. To adequately gas the 10 city zones 1 and 2, 92,700 M79 Phosgene bombs will need to be dropped. Since each B-29 can carry 9 M79 bombs each, it will take 10,300 sorties to drop the 92,700 bombs. By spring of 1945, 21st Bomber Command was deploying over 500 B-29 bombers per mission. A total of 21 missions would be needed to gas the 10 Japanese cities with phosgene, at 500 bombers deployed per mission. Given that 70% of the 14.5 million population will be directly affected by the gas, and phosgene gas lethality rate is around 50%, the 10,300 B-29 sorties will kill 5,075,000. Since the lethality rate of mustard gas is lower, at around 3.5%, the number of Japanese killed would equate to 355,000. And the number of Japanese casualties needing medical attention would be over 10 million. Japan's policy and insight with regard to using poison gas against U.S. and Great Britain is described in this May 1946 Office of the Chief Chemical Officer's Intelligence Report titled Japanese Chemical Warfare. Japan's official policy was not to use poison gas against Western powers. It was not needed as their early battles were successful. As the war progressed and Japan's losses mounted, the Japanese General Staff wanted to use poison gas, especially during the Marianas Campaign. General Tojo forbid poison gas usage. This was due to Japan's commitment in honoring treaties, gas production could not match that of the U.S., and knowing how vulnerable the home island cities were to U.S. air power. Japan's leadership was worried Germany would resort to poison gas, and as such recalled their gas stocks from the front lines in summer of 1944. The Japanese reasoned that the U.S. would retaliate and lump Japan with Germany in a German poison gas attack. They tried to minimize any possible battlefield gas attacks. The Japanese considered but rejected using poison gas to repel a U.S. invasion of the home islands. The gas stocks were too small, and they had no real gas delivery system. By this time in the war, they had no ability to repel any U.S. retaliatory gas strike. In summary, the U.S. planned to kill from 350,000 to 5 million citizens located in 10 Japanese cities if Japan deployed poison gas. The B-29 bomber poison gas delivery system would have not reached critical mass until spring of 1945. The poison gas attacks would have had a devastating effect on population centers and war production. The Japanese pondered but rejected first use in Saipan and the defense of the home islands given their inability to meet the U.S.'s likely overwhelming response. If you found this video insightful, please consider engaging by liking, commenting, and/or subscribing to the channel World War II U.S. Bombers.